awards this evening, I'm excited to present our Visionary Award for 2021 to Karyn Wright of the Village Green and Terra Edibles. As you shared with me, a rather roundabout journey that eventually brought you to Foxborough with your 4-month-old son, and not so much a vision, but the idealism of raising him in the country and a fond reminder of the farmhouse you grew up in, north of Markham. That journey includes LA, Boston, Markham, Baldwin, and then when your mother retired to Desirano, you found your new home. As a graduate of natural sciences from Western, you started a career in Boston with a hospital in the pharmacy department. You came back to Canada to work at Sunnybrook, but then you bounced into buying an antique store near the farm you grew up on, north of Baldwin. And but that was when you were working with the Canadian organic growers that you saw the ad to buy a company called Terra Edibles.
Yes.
What clicked at that moment?
I was doing the desktop publishing, putting together the magazine for the Canadian organic growers. And in doing the page layout, I was working on the classified page. And there, which is Canadian, so it's all across Canada. And there was a little ad that just said, seed company for sale. And I looked and the phone number was a local phone number.
Okay.
So I thought, I'm going to call. I mean, why not? I want to see what it's all about. And it was a lovely lady who lived in Sterling. She had started the company about 2 years before, and it just got something she didn't want anymore. She couldn't handle it. So I went over and spoke to her and saw what she had. And what clicked was, it's heirloom,
Okay.
mostly tomato seeds. You grow your own, you collect your seeds every year, you package them, and you've got yourself a small company.
So
And
your first set of seeds is all you need?
yes, yes. I should only have to sell to you once.
Okay.
Because then you will just regenerate year after year. That doesn't quite work, but that's okay, because that's better for me.
That's fantastic. So, and you may not call that a vision. In fact, you explained to me you feel you've led a charmed life. But I think it's more to do with an acquired resilience and the stories you shared. Certainly a journey, a true journey. But a great role model with your own mother was also part of this.
Yes.
Let's talk about how those past experiences also led to the community shared agriculture initiative you were a part of in 1999, because this really ramps this up.
Yeah, yeah. While building up the Terra Edibles company, I was working just as a friend with a lady called Shirley Fallon.
Okay.
Shirley is a community energizer.
Okay.
And she had so much energy. And she said, Karyn, we've got to work together, get together a proposal through the Trillium Foundation to see if we can get some of the farmers in this area to provide community shared agriculture and get some of these Belleville people who don't have garden space to get out in the country and get fresh food. And the whole concept with community shared agriculture is the person who's buying the food puts forward the money at the beginning of the season when the farmer needs it to buy their seed, and then the farmer provides boxes of fresh food every week to the people.
Something like a community garden.
Something like a community garden, but it's that whole sharing between the farmer and the eater. And kids can get involved. And the whole thing just sounded like, this is right. This is right. So for a year, we got 5 different farmers. We had over 100 families involved. It was a tough year because there was a drought. It was really bad. But a lot of people stayed on and signed up again for the second year. So that was, I considered a success.
And I think we still see remnants of the evolution of that initiative
Yes.
now with a number of community gardens in Belleville proper even. And
Yes.
I think you'd even mentioned that some of those farmers are still involved with the shared agriculture approach.
Yes, they are.
So perfect. I mean, that was Trillium money well spent.
Yes, it was. Yeah. Yeah.
So going back to Terra Edibles in 2002, you went online, and in March of 2020, what was the impact of the pandemic?
Oh, wow. Oh, wow. Interesting you asked that. Today's the 1-year anniversary of when
Right.
they first declared it a pandemic. By middle of March last year, I had jumped from about 10 orders a day to about 50 orders a day, and they were coming in from all across the country, which they usually do. I mean, I ship all over Canada, but they were coming in fast and furious. And when I look at some of the addresses, 7th floor apartment in downtown Toronto, and they're ordering $50 worth of seed. Okay, fine. They're visionary, I suppose. So yeah, the people were ordering a lot more. There were people I had not ever heard of before, because I do have a mailing list. So I'd always check to see, are they a past customer? But no kidding, they were coming in at least 50 orders a day. Thankfully, my son and his girlfriend had moved from Toronto back to stay with us over the lockdown. And I couldn't have done it without them.
And I think you said even your mailing list alone had grown from the 1,000 originally to over 8,000 in the last
Yes.
20 years.
Yes.
So that was already a significant impact. And now to add, so if that was just your 10 orders, I can just imagine exponentially how many more customers you're reaching.
Oh yeah.
That's fantastic. And I was looking at an old, we used to do a newsletter with the chamber. And sure enough, there you are in May of 2001, May of 2001.
Yes.
Members on the Move, Karyn Wright opening the doors to the Village Green in Foxborough. How did that happen?
Well, Terra Edibles was strictly the seed company. It was strictly mail order, and I was running it out of my hall in my house. When we actually did a garden show in Belleville, it only happened for I think 2 or 3 years in a row, but there was one garden show, and it was in 1999, I suppose, around there. People kept coming up to me and saying, I'd love to buy the seeds, but I've got no place to start them. If you were selling the seedlings, I'd be all over it. Oh. And we heard that enough that my husband and I said, we better build a greenhouse, because there was no way I could do that in my kitchen, right? So we were sitting out during the summer and looked across the street, and there was just an empty lot that had a sign on it that said for sale. Had just gone up. And he and I looked at each other, and I said, you know, that could wind up being a used car lot or a video store. Let's see what they want for it. So we checked, and it was a fair price. And so we said, okay, I think we have to do this, because it just seemed like the next step. So we did.
And so the concept of the greenhouse and what you have there, and if anybody hasn't been to the Village Green, it really is worth checking out, because even from the windows that you have that form the foyer basically to the store, but then all the Canadian sourced and local sourced products, the artisanal type of crafts that you have included, it's the front to so much more, but it's a pretty active business unto itself.
It is. So there's actually the two businesses. The
Right.
building itself is the Village Green, international headquarters of Terra Edibles.
There you go. Name a couple of the favorite products that you have in there right now.
Oh my God. We've been selling jerk in a jar. It sells itself. That's a jerk sauce from a fellow up in Madoc. It's amazing. And I've been selling that for almost the 20 years. We have candles from Tweedledee up in Tweed. Those are some of my favorites. And what's happening now, there's a transition going on where quilts.
Okay.
Because I joined the Quinty Quilters Guild, and I'm offering space for people to be selling their quilts. And they're a kick. They're so original. It's all handmade stuff. It's not always changing.
Right.
place
So
there.
you may not think that this was vision, but I think you've created an opportunity that will allow your business to continue to flourish as long as you want it to. You like it the way it is, but I would certainly say, more than anything, this is a happy anniversary. It's a milestone for you. And I am so pleased to present you with the Cornerstone Visionary Award for 2021.